welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Lottie and today's class we're going to look all about the hips. So this is a really good one for any runners, cyclists, any sort of sports, or especially if you're sat at a desk a lot during the day. So we're working into mobility, a bit of stretching in the hips, the back of the hamstrings, the calves, and some movement halfway through the class. So jump into something you can move around in and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to come to the floor, come to a seated position, and we're going to extend the legs out to the sides. Doesn't necessarily matter how wide the legs go, to however feels comfortable, but so that you can feel an active stretch to the inside of the leg, the groin area, and the hips. Okay, we're going to grab hold of the fleshy part of the bum, pick it up, and move it out of the way, and that will help ground our seat. Just check in with the upper body. Make sure we're not kind of folding over here. We're leaning slightly back, so stacked above the hips. Just rest the hands onto the legs for a moment and take notice of the feet. So the feet are active, toes are pointing up to the ceiling, and I'm pushing my heels away from the body. So really nice and active legs. You should feel quite a strong stretch like this anyway, especially if you do things like running, cycling, whatever sort of sport or activity, or if you're sat at a desk all day as well. This is a super good stretch. Okay, so from here we're going to come to clasp the hands together to make a fist, and I'm going to take my hands down towards my left leg. Again, doesn't matter how far down they come, and then I'm going to take it across the body over to the right foot and then back again. So down to the left foot, across to the right leg, back and round. So imagine if you're stirring like a big pot, and we're creating a bit of movement in the upper body. We're stretching through the back of the legs. So start nice and slow to begin with. You can make this movement as big or as small as you want. And start to incorporate the breath with the movement as well. So you might inhale as you come down, exhale as you come back. Okay, let's do 2 more full circles. And then come back to center, and we're going to take it the opposite way. So the hand that started, take it to the other leg. Across, back, round, across, back. And then incorporating the breath. Remember, keep those feet nice and active, toes pointing up. Okay, let's do 2 more circles. And gently release, come back to center, release the hands, find that length in the back of the leg, and then we're just going to take hold of the back of the knees, draw the legs together. We're going to come into a pose called Cobbler's pose. So the soles of the feet come together, knees come out to the sides. Doesn't matter about the space in between. You don't have to have the feet really, really close to the groin area. You can have them a little bit further away to give yourself that space, that movement. Okay, let's just take the hands gently onto the ankles. Inhale to find a bit of length. And then exhale, fold into the legs here. Folding from the crease of the hips, and release the head down, release through the back of the neck. Just feeling into that hip stretch. You can take a little sway from side to side if that feels good. Okay, on our next inhale, gently bringing the head back up to seated. Take hold of the outer edges of the knees, draw the knees together, and come to curl yourself into a ball. So hug the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around the knees, and just drop the forehead down into the lap. So here you can completely round through the spine, come to find that natural curve down through the back. Okay, and then inhale, lifting the head back And we're going to come to take the left leg out in front of us, sweep the right leg behind us so the foot is away from the body. We're coming into this box pose. So my hips are grounding into the mat. My left knee is at a 90-degree angle and I'm going to flex that foot. So I instantly should feel a stretch in the hips here and in the back of the leg. With the back leg, so this will be the right foot and the right leg, and again, keeping that 90-degree angle, and I'm just going to gently take hold of the right hand on top of the right hip. See if I can just ease that hip down. And then check in with the torso. So you might want to use the hands onto the mat, see if you can align the body so the body is stacked in line with the hips. You can totally stay here if this is enough of a stretch. This is a deep hip opener for this right side. Okay, we're going to come into a forward fold. So from here, let's gently take the hands down in front of us. You can come down onto the hands, the forearms, or you can stretch the arms out long. Do what feels good for your body. If you feel like this right hip is really lifting high off the mat, just gently take that right hand and place it on top of the hip. Kind of indicate it to go back down. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then gently exhale, release, walk the hands back to the body. You're going to come to swing that right leg back around. We're going to come to the other side. So right knee comes to the 90-degree angle. Left leg comes behind us at the 90-degree angle. Find that box position. I guess it kind of like looks like a number 4. Some people say it looks like a number 4, but I can't see it. So anyway, so find your positioning. Again, see if you can align your torso in line with the hips. Ease that left hip crease down. You can take a couple of moments here to ease into the pose. Remember, you can always hit pause on the video and just take a few moments. Keep both feet flexed, and then when you are ready, we're going to come to walk the hands down in front of the body here. Either come to stay on the hands, or you can come onto the forearms or extend the arms out in front. Use those cues if you feel like the left hip is really lifting off the mat. Come to gently press the left hand down into the hip. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then gently easing back up. Come to swing both legs around. Take them out in front of you. A bit wider than hip distance apart. Take the hands behind us and we're just going to windscreen wiper the legs either side. So dropping the knees over to one side, taking them up and over to the other. Bring a bit of movement into that hip. Okay, gently release. We're going to come to make our way over onto all fours. Okay, wrists in line with shoulders, knees in line with hips. Bit of spinal flexion, inhale as you drop the belly down, take the gaze forward, roll the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, come to round through the spine, tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale, dropping the belly down, taking the gaze forward. Exhale, round. So really stretching out the whole spine here through the sides of the body. Moving in your own rhythm of breath. You can just continue to go up and down, or if it feels good, you can take it from side to side and really stretch into the oblique muscles. A little bit of movement in the hips. A bit of swaying motion. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath. So inhaling through the nose, you can exhale through the nose or the mouth. And then gently we're going to come back to our neutral spine, our flat back. We're going to tuck both toes under and see if you can just spread all the toes evenly so that you're grounding through every single toe, including that baby toe. And then we're going to walk the hands back and come to sit onto the heels in a kneeling position. Okay, so you're probably thinking, wow, this burns, this is not very nice. Bear with me, just for a few breaths. Okay, so we're just going to take the attention away from the toes here whilst they're stretching out. We're going to take the arms out in front of us. Just take a couple of rotations through the wrists. And then come to spread the fingers nice and wide, nice active fingers here. And then just come to clench the fist, extend the fingertips, clench, extend, clench, extend. So we're just going to do this a few times, picking up the pace, working through the fingers here. Breathing, remember to breathe. You can close your eyes off. Let's just focus on creating that energy. You might feel the arms start to burn. Let's take 3 more breaths. Really stretching those fingers out. Whew. 1 more breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, release, and just give those hands a good shake. Shake through the wrists. And then come off the backs of the feet. Release the toes and give them a tap on your floor. Okay, nice. That's really worked into the toe stretch. Okay, come back onto the heels. Just take a moment, take hands either side of the body, and we're just going to rock back and forth, draw the knees up, off the mat. Just giving the tops of the feet a little stretch, working into the ankles. Nice, come back over into tabletop when you're ready. Shuffle the knees back so they are in line with your hips. We're going to tuck the toes under and push back into a downward dog. So hips lifting up to the sky, lengthening through the back of the legs here. Keep a slight bend in the knees so you can really focus on keeping that spine nice and long. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. You're hugging the forearms together here, so they should be facing each other. Little shake nod of the head, nice and soft through the back of the neck. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Okay, when you're ready, you're going to shift the weight over into the left foot. As you raise the right leg off your mat, come to find a 3-legged dog. Dial the toes down to your mat, square those hips off. As you take your next exhale, you're going to shift over into a high plank. Draw that right knee into the chest and plant the foot in between your mat, in between your hands, sorry. Drop the back knee down, untuck the toes. Take a moment here, we've found ourselves in a low lunge. So you should feel a really good stretch in your hip flexor. You can take a little wobble, side to side. Breathing, lengthening those muscle groups. Okay, gently release, come to plant both hands into your mat, tuck the back toe under, lift the kneecap off the floor and sweep that right leg back to find our downward dog. Take a breath. And then as you take your next inhale, shift the weight to the right foot this time. Lifting the left leg off your mat, come to find 3-legged dog. Dial the toes down to your mat. Inhale here, see if you can lift the heel a little bit higher. And then as you exhale, shift over into that high plank. Draw the knee into the chest and plant the foot in between the hands. Nice. Okay, let's drop the back knee down, untuck the toe, come to find that low lunge again. See if you can find a bit of space in the upper body. Try not to dump too much weight into the front. You're really using your legs here to keep you lifted. You can take a little wobble, wiggle from side to side, a bit of movement. Let's take 1 more breath here. Okay, when you're ready, gently release, tuck the toe, back toe under, press both palms into your mat, lift the kneecap off your mat and sweep that left leg back to find ourselves in our down dog. Couple of breaths here, release that air that you might be holding onto in your poses. Really, really important to carry on breathing when you're holding a pose or a stretch. If we're holding our breath, that new breath is not reaching the muscles. Okay. With your next inhale, we're going to take a generous bend at the knees, take the gaze forward in between the hands, and we're going to walk the feet halfway up our mat. Keep the feet hip distance apart, and then we're just going to slide the hands back to meet our feet. Inhale, come to find a halfway lift, so sweep the hands up the shins, lengthen through the back, gaze down at the floor, so you've got a nice long neck here. And then exhale, release forward, fold again. Release the arms down, release the head down, feel nice and heavy through the torso. You're really folding at the crease of the hips here. You can of course keep that bend in the knees, if that feels good. Or you can work on lengthening the back of the legs out, really stretching through the hamstrings and the calf muscles. Let gravity kind of do its work here, because it's really drawing that back down, so you're lengthening the spine, the muscles that surround the back, the shoulders are becoming loose and releasing all that knotted tightness. Okay, when you are ready, we're going to take a generous bend through the knees. As you inhale, slowly rise your way up to standing. Roll the head up last, followed by rolling the shoulders down and back. Nice. Give a little shake, a little bounce through the body. Swing the arms, do what feels good. Shake the legs out. And then we're going to come to take the feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, slight outturn of the toes. So we're going to come down into a squat, a yogi squat. So you might want to roll your mat up underneath the heels. If you find that when you come into squat, the heels lift off the mat, then you can always prop cushions underneath, or you can prop a block underneath, or you can come with me and do it with neither. Okay, so when you're ready, we're going to inhale, sweep the arms above the head, create space through the body. As you exhale, I'm going to slowly drop my sitting bones down into my seat. Take a little sway if you want from side to side. And then come to find this low seated squat. You can use the elbows to wedge into the inside of the legs, just to ease the hips open a bit more. Now your squat might not look like this at all, which is totally cool, it's fine. You might be here with the hands down onto the mat. Just take your time, it is a very strong pose, so you may just want to sway from side to side today with a bit of movement, or you might be super strong and have a lot of mobility and flexibility, and you might be in this position. So let's just stay here for a few more breaths. You can close your eyes off if you're here. And then if you are in a full squat, gently release the hands down to your mat. Slowly sway from side to side to ease yourself out. Come to drop the knees down onto your mat. Come to draw the knees together, heels together. We're going to come down into a child's pose. So resting torso over the legs, arms come down to the sides, and rest the forehead into the floor. Fully relaxing here. So big inhale, really fill the back, the lungs, and as you exhale, just let it all go. Chill out.
Okay, so when you are ready, you're going to gently bring some movement back into the body by swaying the head from side to side. Nice little massage on the forehead. Movement in the neck. And then shuffle the hands underneath the shoulders, and we're going to gently peel the body all the way up to come to sit on the back of the heels. Nice relaxing siren in the background. Okay, take a couple of breaths here. You can keep your eyes closed, you can keep that nice softness that we've created. You can take a little roll in the shoulders, bit of movement in the neck if that feels good. And then we're going to come to draw the hands into the chest, press the thumbs into the sternum, into the centre of the chest. Take a nice long inhale, lengthen through the back of the neck. And then as you exhale, we're going to drop the forehead down to the hands. Feel that stretch in the back of the neck. Just sealing the practice here. And then gently inhale, raise the head back up. Release the hands, slowly opening your eyes. Give them a little rub. And go about your day. Thanks guys, see you soon.